Angry Bears Fan Podcast. We're on episode 44 now. Took a little 2-week break. Life, work, everything's going on. And just the Bears season isn't too eventful. Having the same conversations over and over again. Bagent, Fields, the coach, who's to blame. But before we jump into it, like, follow, subscribe, please, comment, anything will help. Like I said, been about 2 weeks since we spoke last. I think last video we did right after Bagent did very well and won the game, right? That's what
Yeah, it was against the Raiders.
the Raiders. I mean, they fired their coach after that. I think maybe the game after that.
Yeah, it was the game after.
Bagent has come back down to reality. I don't even know if he came back down. We were playing a really bad team, and I just felt that game that they came out. Foreman was running, the line was blocking. We were just firing on all cylinders. Defense looked good. So it was a recipe for success. But
Yeah, these last two games against the Chargers and the Saints, I mean, his ceiling, you know, hey, here's the thing. I'm not by any means, and please nobody take this the wrong way. I'm not by any means comparing this man to who I'm about to compare him to in terms of just, statistical. It goes for all quarterbacks, right? So when you come into the league, first things first is know how to play the position. And Tyson Bagent does that very well. He knows how to play play the position of quarterback. He really does. Um, but if you take a look at, and again, this is not a comparison. I'm not saying he's going to turn into this man. But if you take a look at the career path of the first 4 years of a Tom Brady, right? He wasn't Tom Brady. Those first 4 years that he was in the league, he threw for under 3,000 yards 3 out of the 4 of those years. He, was considered by all means a game manager his first few years in the league because he had a top 10
I
defense.
would even say more
You know
than
what I'm
few.
saying?
Probably the first half of his career. I mean, the first multiple Super Bowls, he was
Though
really a
the
game
one thing
manager.
he did, he was
Clutch.
a really good decision maker. He had a slightly above average arm talent, but he got the ball out quick, and that's what Tyson Bagent does well. He knows how to play the position. Arm strength and stuff like that. And Tom Brady is one of the first people that'll tell you arm strength and stuff like that comes with being in the league a little bit more. That's stuff that you can coach and work on because you got your strength and conditioning coaches, you got everything else like that. So that stuff can also be taught coming into the league. So his ceiling, career backup probably, but he has a shot to be something, maybe not with the Bears, but he could develop if he gets a
Again,
good coach,
I
something
don't
like
know,
that.
like
He
the
could
kid. I
develop
would
into somebody, but he's not Justin.
no.
He doesn't have the talent Justin has. It's just you saw with these 2 weeks, right? He made those interceptions, two of those interceptions against the Saints. They weren't bad decisions. They weren't double coverage or anything else like that. They were just slight underthrows. He
Yeah, he
threw them
doesn't have the
behind
zip
his
on it.
receivers a couple of times, but they were the right read. It was the correct read. He just didn't lead them enough. And if he led, the one to Mooney over the middle that got pretty much snatched out of his hands, he had open field in front of him for
Yeah,
days. So it's just one of those things where, and honestly, Justin probably doesn't make that throw. But if you look at the tape too, it's weird. So the first 3 quarters, just this year in general, the quarterback rating for both Tyson Bagent and Justin Fields is like in the 130s. In the fourth quarter, it's like 41.
I did not know
And
that.
yeah, so and that's with both quarterbacks. First 3 quarters, their quarterback rating is about 130. Fourth quarter, it's about 41. It's a huge drop off. I don't know if they get gun shy in the fourth quarter, what they're being coached. It could be
That honestly, with that stat, if that applies to both of them, it just has to be coaching. I think on defense and offense, our coaching, especially in the late quarters of the game, is just terrible. We can't get off the field on third down, and we can't get a first down on third down. And I think a
no.
lot of that's play calling. Um, the quick passing game, I think, is coaching. Yes, there are things that Justin can do. He holds the ball a little too long, but I think even yourself, like I said, you brought up Brady. I think we all get a little enamored with okay, let's get rid of the ball. I think that was an old mantra. The guys who are dominating the NFL right now aren't the get the ball in their hands really quick guy, except for like in the screen game, in the plays that the coaches are drawing up to get the balls in their hands quick. But Mahomes isn't like we don't think Mahomes is the GOAT because he gets the ball out of his hand quick. Josh Allen isn't an MVP candidate because he gets the ball out of his hand quick. Joe Burrow does not get the ball out of his hand quick. Occasionally he does, yes. And those are the things that Justin needs to work on third down when the running back's there, hit him. When on third down when the hitch is there, hit him. But
Majority of the time, though, those quarterbacks that you mentioned, majority of the time, they get the ball out in less than 3 seconds. Majority of the time, not
I
all the
will say that what I will say with the Chiefs, it's their play calling. They draw up good plays where people are open right away. Like they're in sure and their receivers are winning their routes. Kelsey can't be guarded one on one. These are you know what I mean. It's easy to have a quick game when you got Kelsey, Devontae Adams. You got these guys who cannot be guarded at all. Like DJ Moore is great and he's been amazing, a godsend of the Bears, the best wide receiver we've ever had, really. And
I still give that to Brandon Marshall right now.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. I
Brandon
think
Marshall
talent
was
wise, I'll say DJ Moore. Brandon Marshall was just a dog.
yeah,
Like he's just
and
really good wide
honestly,
receiver.
the few years that we had
Yeah, he was good.
Alshon
I mean,
Jeffries
Brandon
was
Marshall, if you took like what people didn't like about his side, he is the Hall of Famer to me. In my opinion, like he didn't win the Super Bowl, but like to do what he did is more impressive than things that Hall of Famers done. To go have a
oh,
1,000 yards with
absolutely.
like 10
Did,
different quarterbacks is
he didn't
ridiculous.
he have like 9 straight years of like 100+ catches?
Yes, or I don't know about 9, but I think he has 9 years with or I think it's 9 different quarterbacks. He's had 100 catches or something like that. Nine,
That's
like
insane.
that is ridiculous,
That's
and not
insane.
good quarterbacks either. It's like
No,
8 of the 9 are terrible guys who are backups. Like, so yeah. But DJ Moore has been amazing, and I don't want to harp on him, but he also has trouble getting open sometimes too. Um, but again, I'm not trying to make too many excuses for Justin. I just think that people get enamored with some of these old mantras that we used to have. I think it's a new NFL now. Yes, Justin Fields gets happy feet. He holds the ball too long, but those are the type of guys we need. Like I said, Bagent has a ceiling. Justin Fields is the most exciting player we might have ever had on our team, maybe outside of Devin Hester, Walter Payton, Gale Sayers, guys like that. Like, and I'm like I said, this is the ever dying debate about the Bears. It's like I'm not ready to give up on the best quarterback prospect we've ever had. Like people like just think they're like, oh, we're just gonna go get another one of these guys. Like, oh, throw him away, like fucking Andy threw fucking Woody away when Buzz came. But it's like you're not getting like Joe Montana, Tom Brady is not walking through that door. Like more than likely is not walking through that door. And I think I was looking this up. No team has won a Super Bowl with a quarterback they drafted in the top 3 picks outside of the Colts, and it took them 9 seasons to get there after they did it. Not one team. Joe Burrow's the only number 1 pick who's been to the Super Bowl with this team.
that's
Like
an interesting fact.
that, like and yes, I'm enamored with the
But
quarterbacks,
but
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 you got to build like the 49ers, even the Chiefs. You build your team, and then you do what the Bears did, and you trade up and you go get the guy at 11. I'm not saying that you don't waste high draft capital on the quarterback. What I'm saying is you build the team first, and if you're drafting in the top 5, you have not built the team.
wait, how many quarterbacks did you say?
One in the last 30 years.
Okay, in the last 30
Yeah,
years.
well, back in the day it was different. Like you know what I mean?
Who
Like
who who was that one in the last 30 years? Peyton?
Peyton Manning. And they drafted him in 99. They won the Super Bowl in '07. So it
In the
took,
last 30 years. So we're going back to what, 1992, 1993?
yeah. Or no, Elway would have, yeah, Elway would have, well, he was
Elway
the
was
number 1, yeah.
1983.
Okay, 80. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, he won in the, yeah, damn, he won in 98, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 90. What was
Yeah.
it? 90.
It was
Holy
97
shit. Yeah, 97.
because
Damn.
Green Bay won in 96 and they were going to
And
go
what,
back to
Favre was
back.
a second round
And then
pick from a different team.
Denver went back to back. And then St. Louis, the
Kurt
greatest
Warner
show on
was bagging
turf.
groceries.
Yeah. Um, no,
Then Brady won.
you
Rich
bring up
Gan,
an
like,
interesting point, and that's actually something that I had on my notes here. So, I mean, I know we're kind of getting a little off course. A couple of bad losses. We'll get to what I was going to bring up here in a minute. A couple of bad losses. Kind of want to go over those real quickly with you. We talked about Tyson Bagent in that play. Um, we made a big trade at the trade deadline, getting
oh, yeah.
Montez
Very
Sweat.
good. Good. Yeah.
Um, a lot of people on Twitter and that idiot Mike Lombardi, was talking shit about the trade and how it was a bad trade and this, that, and the other. I think it's a very good trade. Granted, they're paying him top 5 defensive end money for edge rusher. What people don't understand is playing that position. Sure, you want to be able to sack the quarterback. He's never had double-digit sacks, but what people fail to realize is that he's also a top 5 defender against the run at that position, and that's very hard to be able to get an edge rusher that is both good against the pass and against the run. And if he's a top 5 defender against the run and he still brings anywhere from 8.5 to 10 sacks a year or whatever, you're still getting that $24.5 million money worth because when you think about it, salary cap's going to go up. It's going to continuously go up. Those prices are going to
That's just the
continuously go up.
market. I wouldn't even say like
Exactly.
whoever
So
we
you have
got.
a
That's who, like if they were any good, and that's what we were going to be paying them. If
yes,
Montez
and you
Sweat
have
was
a
a free
20.
agent, Chase Young, any of these guys, they were getting what Montez Sweat got. They
Yeah,
have
and that's
agents.
the
They know
thing
like
with Chase Young, the medicals. You and I were talking about it. The medicals. A lot of teams got scared off by Chase Young's medicals. Granted, they only gave up a third round pick instead of a second round pick, but that third round pick was a complimentary draft pick that they got. Because they got like fucking 8 of them this
don't you
past
and don't
year.
wouldn't they get don't they get a draft pick back if they don't end up re-signing
Yes,
Chase
yes,
Young too?
yeah. It's a
That's where
compensatory pick
honestly, that's where I don't like the move. I'm glad we got Sweat. Honestly, why not roll the dice and get them both? If Chase Young doesn't re-sign with us, we get the third back, and it's like
because here I can see that, but what a lot of thing was that Washington's coaches were kind of like, oh, okay, Chase Young, not a big. They were really upset that Montez Sweat got traded because what, from what I understand, coming out of the Washington locker room was that Chase Young would deviate from play design to try to make
sure.
splash plays.
I
You know what
mean, a
I'm
lot
saying?
of, but that's, I mean, yeah, your defense is going to hate that, but that's what the great players do, really. I mean, unless,
Sometimes,
yes, and it could be
sometimes.
wrong, but maybe he didn't want to be there. I don't know. What I'm saying is just a flyer. I'm not saying we could have paid the third, let him play out the season. If him and Sweat are clicking, if reuniting with Justin Fields doesn't light a fire under him, if putting on that bear, like, and two, like, who knows? You put on that Bears jersey and that history and being on the defense, that might, you know what I
But
mean?
see, here's what I think kind of scared them away with the and it comes back to the medicals. If you give up that third and he gets hurt and nobody signs him, you gave up a third for nothing.
I don't think
And
nobody would have signed him though. I just think that's
if
not.
it
And I
well,
guess
from
if
what I
yeah, who is agent?
understand,
Yeah.
if anything else happens to that knee, and this is just coming from team doctors and stuff like that, from teams that have explored the opportunities. If anything else happens to that knee, his career is over. Those are team doctors' exact words. But the Montez Sweat trade, I think, was big. The extension's big. We got him for 4 years. The defense has improved a little bit. The third down defense is still absolutely abysmal. It doesn't matter if we're blitzing or if we're staying in coverage. The blitzes are getting picked up, and we're having wide open wide receivers. We're dropping back in coverage, only rushing 4, and we're giving wide receivers time to get open. The defense third down has not been good. They've been very good at bending but not breaking. They have a good red zone defense. In between the 20s, it's the staple of the cover 2. In between the 20s, eats up a lot of yardage, yada yada yada. But they usually hold them to field goals, and that's always been the staple of the Tampa 2 defense. But it's outdated. You and I
Yes.
have always
That's
talked
not going
about
to
this. It's
work on
outdated,
the Chiefs, the Eagles.
especially when you're
You
not
can't
when
keep
you're
letting
not
them get
creating
inside the
turnovers.
20. Yeah, you can't get them inside the 20
Yeah,
and
when you're not
think they're not
creating
going to score.
turnovers, that defense just doesn't work. The offense, like we talked about, first 3 quarters, has looked efficient. When it comes to that fourth quarter, it just seems like everything falls apart. It's like we abandoned the run. And that's another thing. I mean, Tyson Bagent had 70 yards rushing against the Saints. Deontay Foreman had 83 yards rushing on like 18 carries or something like that. He was toting the rocket like 5 yards
Why
a
don't they
clip.
want that identity? Like, I do not get it. We were like, I was looking at the stats last year. Like, we were so good running the ball. We just needed the defense to be middle of the pack. We would have been a borderline playoff team.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
Absolutely.
why don't we want to? The defense is a little bit better this year, and it's like, why do we not want to run the ball? And running the ball isn't something you just oh man, it's not working on the first 4 plays. No, you
Bec-
commit to it
you
and
know
you do it the
why?
entire game.
You know why? It's because us fans, the Bears fans, are bitching. Oh, uh, why are you the game's changing? It's not, you don't run the ball. We got to throw the ball. We got to be able to have a 4,000-yard passer, blah, 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 blah. It goes back to the whole game manager thing. This
Yeah,
whole game manager label, I don't understand why it's such a stigma, why it's such a bad thing. If you have a good running game and a good defense, you can plug and play your quarterback and still have a playoff contending team. I just,
yeah.
I don't know. I get
That's why I'm saying like we have no culture, and it goes back we were talking about before the Bears. This idea that Bears fan base has that like, oh, we're gonna draft Caleb Williams and he's gonna be Patrick Mahomes. Like,
Caleb
can
Williams is
any
Kyler Murray
Bears fan?
2.0.
I would honestly love for a Bears fan to tell me with a straight face they think that if Patrick Mahomes got drafted instead of Mitch Trubisky, that he would be the GOAT and a
That he would
two-time
be
Super
Patrick
Bowl.
Mahomes.
Yeah, that he'd be a two-time Super Bowl winner
No.
No, he wouldn't. So why do we want to do it now? We're even worse now. We're
And that's the
even
thing. And
worse
like I
than
said,
then.
to me, same coach, same everything. I really think Caleb Williams is Kyler Murray 2.0. He's the same
I
size.
I think so too.
He's
I've been saying that since the last draft, like before Bryce Young.
he's got he's got incredible arm talent. I
They
mean,
all do. That's what I don't get. Where they talk about this arm talent. Half of the guys in college are amazing.
but he makes throws that
Yes, he's good.
not every
He's
quarterback in
very
the
good.
country can
And
make.
I think if you put him on the right system with the right coach, he'll be amazing too. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, but the Bears ain't that. And like I said, to go back what I said before, I look like no team has won a Super Bowl. One person. And Peyton Manning was a generational first round pick quarterback. And it took them 9 years to get there. 8 years to get there. They drafted him in 99. He didn't win till '07. So, and it really took them like 5 or 6 years to be a contender. And it's like, so that is not the path. Or the path is build your fucking team up, build your assets up, and then you trade up, pull the trigger, go get Mahomes at 11. You go get
My
Trey
thing
Lance. Maybe
is,
maybe it doesn't work out, but you go get Trey Lance when you got Kittle, Debo, all the, you know what I mean? Like that's what you do. Like this draft Caleb. Right now, people want Caleb so bad. We're gonna get like triple what we got for DJ or for the first round pick this year.
that's what I was going to ask you. So Kyler Murray comes back, right? He's coming back this week for Arizona. Arizona has the number one pick, and then it goes Carolina, Chicago. I'm assuming Kyler Murray pulls them out a couple of wins
Yep.
over the last half of the season. I think Carolina finishes 1 or 2 wins max
Same with the
by the
Bears, I'm
season
guessing,
here.
especially with Justin not
Um,
playing anymore.
so let's just say the Bears end up with the number one and the number two overall pick, both of them. What kind of draft capital do you think you can get
I
in
mean, we're
trade?
gonna get great. We're gonna have like 6 future draft first round draft picks. Like if
Because
we get my idea, I'm sure we're gonna do a million of these like we did before. But I'm hoping we're 1 and 2 and we can do something like
I'm hoping we could trade both. Because here's the thing:
yeah. No,
the
I don't
Giants.
know. If it's two, I kind of want Marvin Harrison Jr. I really do. I'm
Well,
not a
here's the thing. Hold on. Your top two picks are going to be quarterbacks. It's going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May. Without a doubt, no
yeah.
questions asked. It's Caleb Williams, Drake May,
Mhm.
1 and 2. The
I don't know.
first,
I don't know about. I guess what
no,
it'll change. I think
100%,
it'll change once the combine comes. But I guess you're right. I think it'll be.
100%.
I think May and Marvin Harrison Jr. are close.
If you if you want Marvin Harrison Jr., you can't fall past 3.
Yeah.
So
If we can
you
get three, then
have
I'm fine. Yeah.
you have the New York Giants that are going to be in the market for a quarterback, no doubt, no question.
You think so? I mean, they
Yes,
still owe
100%,
dimes, right?
1,000%. They're getting another quarterback. They paid him that money because there was nobody else available, and they had too high of a draft pick. It just wasn't
Yeah,
going to
but it's
happen.
like guaranteed. They can't get rid of them.
Um,
It was like,
doesn't
wasn't
matter.
it like a huge guaranteed deal or some
It
shit?
was it was 4 years, 160. They'll move on. They'll find a
Well,
way.
yeah.
There's always a way.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I'm not saying it's impossible. I just like
The
that's a tough
Patriots,
sell. Patriots, yeah.
the Raiders, those 3 teams right off the bat are
Raiders are
gonna
definitely taking
fall.
quarterback.
They're gonna fall into the 3 to 5 range. You definitely want number 3 because the first 2 picks are going to be Marvin
Yes.
Harrison Jr. Or I'm sorry, they're going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May. They're going to be 2 quarterbacks, 1 and 2 coming off the board. But say you get 3 and
Another
a
top 10.
future, and then you trade number 2 and you get whatever else, right? So you're looking at just a probably maybe potentially 3 first round picks this year, 3 first round picks next year, and 2 something the year after. You're looking at multiple first round picks. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be your third overall pick. Assuming you have the third overall pick, you make that trade, and you fall into the 6 range with your second first round pick or whatever from trading the number 2 overall pick. So let's say you're 5 to 6. You have Marvin Harrison Jr. and say you take either Ott or the blue chip left tackle from Penn State. I forget his name. It's like Olu
Yeah,
or something like
yeah.
that.
So
That right there with DJ Moore, Justin Fields, Marvin Harrison Jr. And I mean, when you look at this Bears offensive line, with the exception of the
they're
center
getting better.
position, with the
Honestly, like
exception
I
of the
said,
center
yeah,
position,
yeah.
if they draft a center or sign, a center in free agency, Preferably, you spend some of that draft capital on a center, but you have Darnell Wright, who's a dog. You have Tevin Jenkins, who's a dog. If he stays healthy, right now, Tevin Jenkins is the highest rated guard in the NFL. And if he stays healthy, he is one of the best, if
Yes,
not
he's
the
great.
best guards in the
He's
NFL.
good.
Nate Davis is a very serviceable guard, especially when he's healthy. He's very, he didn't have any issues before he got hurt. It took him a little while to ease back into the game after taking so much time off. And then say you get your first round pick left tackle and you draft or sign a center. That's a very, very good offensive line. DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr. as your wide receivers. You probably do not re-sign Darnell Mooney,
Not
which
if
I'm
he,
fine with.
Yeah,
I'm
Tyler
fine
Scott,
with.
I think is ready to. I think he
Yeah.
could play the Mooney role. So I mean, Mooney.
Um,
But again, if you're building something, Mooney might take a pay cut. Like it's not like everybody's gonna want Mooney anyway. I'm sure like every team would like to have him, but not as like at a high price. So it's like he might
it
say,
depends.
"Hey, I got a rapport with these guys. I'll take a little bit of a cut."
I'm thinking it's going to be like a Jacoby Myers or like a Juju contract, like a
Maybe
10
Juju,
mil,
not Jacoby. Jacoby
a
Myers got a
10,
good deal, but maybe
a
Juju.
10 mil a year contract.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers and Juju got the exact same contract this offseason.
Oh, did
The
they?
exact
I was
same.
thinking about last year. Okay, I thought
It was the exact,
Jacoby.
no, it was the
I thought
exact same.
Jacoby Myers got a real deal. I thought Juju was on like a 1 year.
No, it was a 3 year, $30 million deal.
Okay, that's why.
The
Yeah, I thought
exact
Juju.
same. So it's going to be in the $10 million range. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think he can
maybe,
afford that.
but
But that's something for Justin to decide. And I'm on board with you. Like I said, I've been heart preaching this. Like when it's time to move on from Justin, I'll be ready to go. But I don't think, like I said, I don't think 2 years enough, and I don't think that Caleb Williams is going to solve our problem. So it's like, why not
because
build
here's
the?
the thing. Here's what's happening. I know a lot of people, especially with the press conferences that Ryan Poles has had, which if he really does decide to keep Eberflus and this coaching staff beyond this year, uh,
He's done.
it's an
I'm done with him.
absolute fireable offense just in that decision. Yeah, they will get so much blowback.
Jim Harbaugh's going to be the coach.
There's no way Kevin Warren allows that to happen. I don't think it's Harbaugh.
I think it is.
I don't think it's
After
Harbaugh.
everything that's going on with Michigan, I didn't think so before this.
I don't
Because
think
he
I
was going to
think
get to write his own check. They're running him out of the league. He's
I
going to go to
think
the NFL.
Harbaugh.
Maybe the
I think
Chargers, but
I
he's a
don't
Midwest guy.
know. I'm thinking the Raiders.
No, he's a mid. I don't think he goes to
Yeah,
Vegas.
absolutely. The
No,
Raiders have had absolutely no problem paying coaches.
I'm not talking. But I don't think it'll be totally a money thing. He's not going to go to the Raiders have nobody. They suck.
It doesn't. I don't think
He's
it
going to the Raiders,
matters.
and I think he's got. I think Michigan's or I think Chicago's close to Michigan. He's an ex-player. Ditka's his guy. He played in like I said, it's a Midwest. He's a family
I,
man too. I don't think he's going to want to move his 20-person family all the way to California or Vegas.
I understand that, but again, we're talking about the Chicago Bears here. We're talking about a very conservative franchise.
Yes,
They're
but
not.
we've made a bunch of changes that we never had before. Kevin
I
Warren.
get that, but at the end of the day, it's still owned by the McCaskies,
Yeah,
regardless
but
of Kevin Warren and everything else like that.
you've even said we got to have a big name coach to open the stadium with.
I get that. I understand. But
There's nobody to get but him.
if there is any kind of proof that Jim Harbaugh knew about this and stuff like that,
It won't matter for the NFL though.
I don't, but it doesn't matter. It's still bad press, and that's
No,
not the
no, I don't
McCaskey
care.
business.
The
It's
McCaskey
not the
business.
McCaskey
But what
business.
I'm saying is like I think the McCaskies made a concerning effort to say, hey, what we're doing is not working. We're going to let these guys do it.
But they don't want a bad image. And
I don't think
I
that. But
know
what I'm saying is like, do you think that's a bad image? People like
I no,
people.
I personally me no, but
No,
to
I'm
the
saying in general. I
casual,
think people like to hate because it's a news cycle, but nobody's going to care that you were stealing signs in college from the NFL team. Like,
I just have a really bad feeling that
and he's not going to get in any trouble anyway. They would
you know,
if if he gets in trouble, they're going to have to punish like 10 coaches.
yeah, I just have a bad feeling that it's not gonna end up that way. I mean, you know who I like. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Harbaugh would be nice. My go-to would still be Ben Johnson. Um, they're doing good things up there. He's doing good things up there in
Yeah,
Detroit.
but
And
I
I
mean,
really,
he's doing good things with the play calling. We need culture. He didn't create the culture on the Lions. And like I said, I don't want some schemer. We need an identity.
no, we need a schemer.
I mean, well, the head coach with identity. Then you get the OCs. They scheme. That's what I'm saying. What exactly? You just said the Lions. What are they doing? Head coach is the identity, and the
Yes,
other
and
and
he's coaching under You don't think he's gonna bring that with him?
no, I don't know. No,
Oh, come
I mean
on.
some of it, but you
Every
can't.
every
You can bring
offensive
it.
coordinator.
You
Well,
can bring
I'm
it
not even
with
gonna
you,
say
but
every
you
offensive
can't be
coordinator.
Dan Campbell. Like that's what I'm
No,
saying. Like Jim
but the
Harbaugh, like Jim
culture,
Harbaugh's coordinators are bringing Jim Harbaugh with them, but they can't be Jim.
the culture differences are the same. And we talk
What I'm
about the
saying, yeah,
Patriot way, and we talk
yeah, but
about
no, none of them have ever
coaching
been as clearly as
trees.
successful as Bill, because
And
you
well,
can't be
it's still,
Bill.
but still the coaching trees, regardless. They
Yes, but
they
what I'm
bring the
saying is,
same aspect of that
well,
person, that
they
personality with
attempt
them.
to, but I don't think. Do you think Josh McDaniels brought that to the
He
Raiders?
tried.
No, I
He
think Josh
failed
McDaniels.
miserably.
No, I think he's a different guy than Belichick. I don't think he runs it like Belichick. I think he's a different guy than him, and it doesn't work.
He
But
failed miserably. He doesn't
and
have the
I don't think Ben
respect.
Johnson is bad. I'm just saying, like, I'm not a fan of these, like, oh, we had a couple good years in offense, and I was a good OC. I'm going to be a good head coach. No, maybe he's just a good OC. Maybe he is a good head coach. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, like, I know certain guys are good head coaches, and they create culture. Like, and that's what the Bears need. We have no identity. We don't run the ball. We don't play hard defense. We're not grinding. Like, what are the Bears known for now? Like, even in our worst days when we were growing up, it was known. You come to the Bears, we're playing tough fucking defense and we were going to run the ball. We might suck. Quarterback might suck. Our whole team might suck. But you were coming there to get into a dogfight with the Bears. And now we like don't have any of that. We don't play hard defense. We don't run the ball. It's like we need somebody to come in and be like, I'm the fucking boss. You know what I mean? And it's going to be my fucking way or the highway. Eberflus is a coordinator. That's what he is. And I think I don't know about Ben Johnson. I know Eberflus is. But what I'm saying is like I think the lines are great because Dan Campbell is a tone setting culture. And yes, Ben Johnson probably fell in line with it and he helps cultivate it, but it's all coming from the head. He might when he's in charge, he might not do things that way because that's not how he operates. And I would love to have him as our OC, but I don't think he's a better head coach than like I don't want to go with another unproven guy that we're taking a flyer on. We did it with Nagy, we did it with Eberflus because they were on good teams with good head coaches,
Yeah, but
and we
there's not
hired
a
them.
lot of guys. There's not a lot of guys out there that are proven commodity head coaches, with the exception of John Harbaugh, that have a proven track record. But let's be fair too. Realistically, John Harbaugh hasn't really won
True,
anything either.
but well, I mean, he didn't win the Super Bowl, but he was
He hasn't won a national championship either.
well. I mean, I'm not talking about nationals. I'm talking about in the NFL in general. I
But
mean,
he
he
but he hasn't won anything of
well
substance.
because is the championship the only thing that's substance?
Yes, your
No, I
main
don't think
goal is to
that's
win
fair.
championships.
I don't think Andy Reid was a bad coach until he won the Super Bowl. That's what you're implying that until Andy Reid won the Super Bowl, he was a bad coach, even
No,
though
I'm
he's
not
been to
saying
that.
that. I'm
That's
not
what I'm
saying
saying. Like
John.
Jim
No,
is,
I'm not saying
yeah.
John Harbaugh would be a bad coach either. But what I'm saying is everybody's hyping up John
Well, I'm
Harbaugh
not
as a
talking about the
savior.
Super Bowl. I just want to
Like,
be. I don't want to be the laughing stock of the league. That's what I think. Again, not saying you in general, but Bears fans are like getting the hair of this stuff. Like, oh, we're gonna get Caleb Williams and he's gonna beat Mahomes. Like, that's like 10 steps ahead. You're right. Maybe again, maybe Jim Harbaugh will never bring us a Super Bowl, but do think he will bring some credibility to our organization and some direction and some culture. Maybe he doesn't win the Super Bowl, but what I do know is he always had a good team. He built a quarterback that people like Colin Kaepernick. He's a good like he's good. He's good at team building. He's good at hiring the right coordinators. He's good at you know what I mean, getting a game plan, things like that. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe we won't win the Super Bowl, but I'm not even talking about winning the Super Bowl. I don't want to even be the laughing stock. I want to win the NFC North first, like
I
baby
want to
steps.
win 5 games.
And then I'll get mad at Jim Harbaugh 5 years in and we still haven't won the Super Bowl. Then we'll start, you know what I mean, being you know what I mean, the whiners like, oh, you know what I mean. It's how I am a Michigan. I was happy when he came, and when we lost the fucking the playoffs last year, and and shit like that, I was pissed. And I, you know what I mean. I got a message from 2 years ago that I posted on Facebook where it said it was time for Jim Harbaugh to go. You know what I mean? Like so I would like to have that problem where I'm complaining about Jim Harbaugh and us not being able to win the Super Bowl, but like we can't even win 5 games. Like, and so I don't want to be like, oh, well, let's not get Harbaugh because he can't get us to the Super Bowl. Like, can we get to? He could get us to the playoffs. I think that's where I'm comfortable saying I think if Jim Harbaugh is our coach and
Well,
we got
here's
a
my
good
thing.
haul,
Here's my thing too. Then with Harbaugh, since we're on it, he's been out of the league for how many years now?
that's been. Well, I don't. He was. Where was he at? Yeah, probably like 7.
And I know it's a little bit different because you had guys like Pete Carroll go away to USC and then come back to the NFL and stuff like that. And I know it's possible, right? Um, but Jim Harbaugh too, one of the reasons why he didn't get the Minnesota job was because he was, from what I understand in the interview, he was just a complete control. He
Yeah,
wanted
I
control
agree there
over
too.
everything. There is absolutely no shot that Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren give up that kind of control that he wanted in Minnesota. There's no chance
That
they
argument
give
I
it
can
to him
get
in
behind.
Chicago.
That argument I definitely could get behind. I do know Jim is but he when he was on the 49ers, he wasn't the GM. Him and the ball GM would just get into it, and that's why he eventually left. But he wasn't the GM there. He is a control freak, but I do think he could. What I'm saying is like I feel like he's being ran out of college right now. When we had this conversation 2 months ago, I said I don't think it's going to happen as much as I would like it to because Jim Harbaugh is a god, even without winning a natty. And if he happens to win it this year or even comes close, he could write his own check. And in my head, I would never leave a job like Michigan or Bama or Texas. If we were a contender, why? Like, how is an NFL job better? Like, I just don't think it is. When you're the like
And
you
Jim
said,
he's gonna be expensive.
yes.
He's gonna be
But
very expensive.
I'm not worried about what the Bears are paying a coach. We make tons of money.
We are not worried about what the Bears are paying a
Okay, but
coach.
what I'm saying is like, yeah. So I'm speaking about my perspective. But like I said, I'm not. I don't. I think Ben Johnson is great, but I do not want another coordinator that's unproven. We went that route, and I just think it's doing the team a disservice because I think it puts more pressure on Justin, where it's like a bunch of these guys don't first time doing what they're supposed to be doing, and Justin's fighting for his life, and you know what I mean to come full circle all of it. I feel like he's getting the blame on all of this. Like I said, I looked up some stats, and it's like over the last 20 games, he's 90 QBR, 3,300 passing, 1,300 rushing, 29 pass touchdowns, 11 rushing touchdowns, 62 completion percentage, 22 points per game, and 15 total turnovers. So 40 touchdowns and 16 total turnovers. So it's like it's there, but I think when we're averaging and through that span as well, the Bears defense has been giving up 26.7 points a game and we're averaging 22. It's not sustainable. Like, yes, there are times where we watch the game, Justin throws an interception at the end of the game, yes, and fucking sucks. And you could say, oh, he lost the game. But it's like, if our defense wasn't giving up 30 points, we would have been running the ball in the scenario. We wouldn't be driving down the field at the end of the game. And it's like, I don't want another coordinator who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And it's like, when you're a coordinator who, like, Ben Johnson's not going to hire a bunch of guys who are more credible than him to help him, right? So then it's like, again, what we have with the Bears, we have this young
I
ass
wouldn't say
staff.
that. I wouldn't say that because look what Mike McDaniel's doing down in Miami. Who's his defensive coordinator?
Now though, isn't it year two? But again, but he's a good coach. Like, how do we know Ben Johnson's going to be a good coach?
You
That's what.
because you have to take a
But
chance
what I'm
every
saying is,
now and then,
usually,
like
but what I'm going by generally, head coaches don't hire coordinators and position coaches who are have more status than them and more history
yeah,
than them.
but this is how you can't like. All right, so I get your point. I understand where you're coming from. My whole thing is that where do you think the next line of good head coaches come from? They're coordinators that are given their first gig
Oh yeah,
and
I
they
mean I
become the
do.
next great coaches. You can't rely on, just go running it back. Like if you were to say hey, the Bears, if they go after and they try to trade for like Mike Tomlin, I would be all on board.
What I'm saying is like I understand that, but we
1,000% on.
just did that. We just did Nagy and Eberflus.
Yes,
We
and
can't just keep doing it. That's being crazy. Like
well,
I understand what you're saying. We
it's
got
a
to catch
crapshoot.
one.
It's like the draft. It's like
That's what I'm
drafting
saying. But I don't
players.
want to crapshoot. I don't want to crapshoot with the head coach. Crapshoot with the coordinators. Try and get these guys to come over and be our coordinator. But that's what I'm saying. The head coach has to be stability. Like I just think the team feeds off that. And Eberflus don't know what the fuck he's doing. He don't got no identity, and the team plays like that. Like honestly, I would even if it like honestly, I would like Rex Ryan more than Ben Johnson, and then hire a good coordinator because I think Rex Ryan is a good head coach who hires good people to do their jobs, and I think he's good at being the head coach. Like I think Justin is like the de facto head coach of our team. He takes all the blame. Like anything, like everything that happens is it's Justin's fault. Like, not the coach. You're like, oh, Justin should have just played better. Like, what? We're giving up 30 points a game, and the storyline is like, is Justin Fields really that guy? Like, what the fuck? Like, is anybody that guy in those circumstances? Like, nobody could be the guy in those circumstances. Like, and that's where it's like, I want somebody who they're going to be accountable for the fucking team, and we're not blaming some 22-year-old who, in reality, never got a fair chance. Like, and I always ride for quarterbacks. I'm a Jay Cutler apologist and things like that. But at least he got a fair shake. We surrounded him with a, you know what I mean? There are things, you know what I mean? The O line could have been better, but he had Brandon Marshall. We had a top 10 defense half the seasons he was there. Like, Justin Fields, just this year, finally had something going for him, or at least he had DJ Moore, and he was, at least we're reaping some of the rewards from that. But at him being 2-16 over the what that span I was talking about, like, yes, I would say three of those games were his fault. And well, I won't even say his fault. He just made a bonehead play at the end of the game that cost us, and we could have won. But in reality, Bellis Jones Jr. fumbled away three of those games, literally. And it's like, oh, Justin Fields is 2-16. It's like, if fucking Bellis Jones Jr. catches two of those punts, you know what I mean? It's just different. Like, and and like I said, I want to get back to where we're not blaming like always blaming the quarterback over like the whole team's ineptitude. I want to be like how we were with the Bears before. The defense was good, the running back was good, and then we blame Rex Grossman because we knew it was his fault. But like, I don't know if it's Justin's fault all the time. Yes, there are things. He is not amazing. I've come to grips that maybe he's not Mahomes, but is it about getting Mahomes? Do we always have to have, like? Can we look with some reality and think like, you know, can we get somebody else? Can we get Russell Wilson? Can we get,
Well,
you know what
see,
I mean?
that's the thing too, is that we sit here and we talk about the Justin factor. Um, Ryan Poles did not draft Justin Fields. Ryan Poles will not allow his job to be dictated by Justin Fields, which and another coaching staff comes in here. They will not allow their jobs to hinge on the performance of Justin
What's the
Fields
difference of Justin Fields or Caleb Williams?
because well here's what it is. They want their guy. So if their guy fails, that's on
Yeah,
them.
but again, I don't think Caleb Williams is their guy. That's everybody's guy. You got to take him.
But I understand what I'm saying though is you have a new head coach or Ryan Poles didn't draft Justin Fields. It's the cycle of the NFL. It's
I mean,
always
yes,
been
I've
this
heard the
way.
mantra, but what I'm saying is like, no matter who it is, you're hitching your wagon or whatever kid, and it's like Caleb Williams is talking about he wants a stake in the team and crying on the field, hugging his mom. He can't even. We're complaining about Justin Fields can't get any wins. He can't even beat fucking Washington when he's got a better team. But we expect him to beat the Packers with the Bears
His
roster.
his defense is really bad too.
They're what I'm
He's
saying is like because they're poorly coached and they're like I said, but they're not talentless. They don't have
that is an all-time worst defense at
no
USC.
coaching job, but the talent out there, they've got 5 stars.
Oh, without a doubt, their defense is just abysmal. They're
What I'm saying, I
horrible.
think it's a scheme thing. They just don't care. Like what I'm saying is like they don't make it a point of. But either way, and they play decent. They hold some of these teams. Like I said, I think that gets overblown too. That the defense is so bad. They've held some good teams to some low amount of point under. What did Utah have? 20 something.
No,
Oh, that was last year.
they've given up 40 something points in
Yeah,
the
but
last like 9 games straight.
I don't know about 9 games. No, not
Yes,
9. But what I'm saying is
yes,
like all those Pac-12 teams give up a shit ton of points. Like
not that
again,
many.
and what I'm saying is like talent is equal. He's losing to Washington. How is he going to beat the Packers with the Bears roster? Like that's all I'm saying. Fine, you want to say it's like he's got even footing. It's not like he's playing on fucking Oregon State and he's losing to fucking Oregon. And we're like, oh, fine. He's on fucking USC. Yeah, they don't have the best team in the league, but he's playing with the same caliber of players. They're not getting coached up or whatever. But if he can't beat and like you said, oh, the defense is bad. How bad is the Bears defense? He's so
Oh,
he
I'm
could be
not
he's
disagreeing with you.
coming to
I'm
the
not saying
same
that. We're
situation with the worst O line, worst surrounding cast, and just as bad of a defense. How he gonna bring us out of? We need the pieces. So that's where I'm like, what the fuck are we gonna do with Caleb Williams? We're gonna like even let's say he is better than Justin Fields. Well, we gonna win 4 games? Like instead of two? Like we're still giving up 30 points a game.
But see, that's the thing too, is that we have cap space now, right? And we talked about resetting the rookie clock. In 2 years, you got to pay Justin Fields $25 million. That's what that 5th year option is going to be. Next year is going to be your last, cheap year with Justin Fields. The year after that's 25 million. That's going to go out against your cap. You talk about wanting to build a team around a quarterback with $25 million going to your quarterback that you don't know yet for sure is the guy.
I think it's the price you pay.
How are
Well, I
you
mean,
gonna
we did it
how,
with the
how are you gonna
DN.
build
We
around
don't
him?
know it's not the guy, but that's just again, that's just the market. If we want to have like any quarterback you sign, we're gonna do that. What I'm saying is, if Caleb Williams is any good, you're gonna have to pay him. When did Josh Allen get his contract? Year 3. Mahomes, year 3. Like if he's good, you're gonna have to pay him early. It's not resetting the clock. If Caleb Williams is good, he's not gonna. He's gonna be done playing on his rookie contract, and you're gonna have to pay him real money too. So it doesn't really matter. It's not like Caleb Williams is going to be good. If we ride Caleb Williams' rookie contract out, that means he sucks. If we never extend him till when he gets to his 5th year option, that means he's not good. What Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar, like I guess Lamar would be the only one. Like
After year 3, I think they signed in year 4, the year before their 5th year extension.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so you're gonna have to pay him anyway. It's not like you're gonna be getting him for a
But
bunch
it
of cheap
doesn't.
years.
But it doesn't kick in until after that 5th year. Those are extensions. It
Well,
doesn't
you got to
kick in right
guarantee him
then and
some
there.
money or something, right? To
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of
yeah.
course it's guaranteed at signing, but that again doesn't count against the cap.
What I'm saying
It's
is like I'm ready to get rid of Justin, but I'll get rid of Justin when the team's good. Like we keep saying resetting the clock, but all we're if we get another quarterback, we're resetting the rebuild because then all that capital we could have got.
I mean, yeah, sure, I could see it that way, but you know,
And he needs the time to grow. No quarterback comes in and is good, so it's going to be a learning process for him too. So I just think lick our wounds, keep building our roster. And if we in 2 years, we pay Justin the 5th year, we pay him his 25, whatever. And in 2 years, we're 7-9 and we lost because Justin kept throwing bonehead interceptions. We've got all this draft capital that we collected from trading away, and we trade up and get the best quarterback and insert him into our team that's already good. But I just think, like I said, people keep saying resetting the clock, but in my head, all I'm seeing is we're resetting the rebuild. We're gonna have a bad team again. It's like rookie quarterbacks need to learn the most. They can't. They're the least likely to come right in and help your team win.
unless you're
Out
CJ Stroud.
of God, he's been. Well, man, we said that too. I don't. I never
Hey,
understood
I said
what
CJ
the hype
Stroud
was
was my
about.
number one quarterback
Yeah,
this year.
with Bryce Young. But yeah, CJ Stroud has been impressive, and um, again, I don't even know if I'd say I'd rather have him than, like I said, who knows? But he's been great. Um,
But see, here's the thing. He's kind of doing, and maybe it's coaching, but he's doing it with less. He's doing it with less than Justin Fields right now. He really is. He doesn't have a DJ
DJ
Moore.
Moore.
He
Yeah,
doesn't have a good offensive line.
they got Larry Tunsil. They got good guys.
They
Tunsil's
got
better than
one,
anybody on our line.
but they've also had major injuries on the offensive
Yeah.
line. They're missing 3
Again, he's
starters.
doing great. I mean, I'm not taking. I'm just saying, like they got a decent O line. I think they got a really good coach. I think D'Amico Ryan's is a great coach,
He told
and
them to draft Tank Dell in the 3rd round, just
I was
like
gonna say,
Justin Fields. Just like Justin Fields told Ryan Poles to draft Velus Jones Jr. in the 3rd round, and look what's happened. Look at
well,
the difference.
he didn't say just them. He gave him a pick between like Velus Jones and some other guys, and he said which one do you like the most. Um, I heard he was friends with George Pickens, so he probably would have told him to take Pickens. I don't know. I guess I like Kyler Jordan. He's pretty good. I like to see him. It was good to see him back out there. Um, I guess we've been going on for a while. As long as when we've done in a while. Like I said, we had a little hiatus. We got the Sweat trade. Uh, that was
Yeah,
I
look,
really like to see it.
Be on the lookout for a Jalen Johnson extension coming soon.
I think so too.
I really think Jalen is the next one to get extended. Like I said, I do not think they extend Mooney. I just
No.
I don't think so. I think they have Marvin Harrison Jr. on their boards in their sights. So I expect that. I don't expect a Mooney extension, but definitely a JJ. From what I understand, during the trade deadline when he asked to be traded, there were the deals in terms of compensation was low, and he was apparently asking for just unreasonable amounts of AAV in terms of where he wanted to be paid annually on that scale. And that's the thing with Jalen Johnson is that I like Jalen Johnson. I think he's a really, I think he's a decent cornerback. He's not a top 5 corner. He should not be paid like a top 5 corner. He's not even a top 10 corner. Granted, PFF grade, he's the 2nd or 3rd best ranked corner in the league right now, but that's only 1 year. The previous 3 years, he has not been very consistent. And you got to stay healthy.
And he gets.
He's
I was just
been
gonna say he
injured.
gets hurt every year too. So it's
He's
like
been injured.
I
You
don't know.
know,
I've been. I think Terrell Lewis is okay. I think Stevenson he needs to get in control. He gets a lot of penalties, but I think he plays very. I think he's adequate NFL starting corner.
Tyree Stevenson is ranked 112th out of 121 corners.
Yeah, but like I said, we just get shit on in the pass game. We got no pass rush. What I'm saying
Yeah,
is like he makes flash plays. Does he get beat up in coverage? Sure, but so are all of our corners, and
I
maybe that's
really
it.
like Terrell Smith though.
Yeah,
You're
Terrell
right.
Smith, I think
I
has been
really
good.
like Terrell Smith.
Um, Dexter's been getting a lot better. Billings has been playing a lot better. I mean, the defense has been making strides, and I think that's because Eberflus has been handling that. I think that was always what he should have been doing in the first fucking place. I don't think he's a head coach, and like I said, I'm not like, and I didn't mean to talk shit about Ben Johnson. He seems like a good guy, and maybe he will be a good head coach. What I'm saying is like I'm done with the experiment. Just like I said, I don't want to experiment with the top three quarterback again because historically it's not conducive with winning. It just isn't. Like Peyton Manning is the only number one overall pick besides like John Elway, who's been really good since like the 70s. Like the way to be a Super Bowl team is to build up a great team and find a gem. Or you know what I mean? You trade it up like Justin Fields or Mahomes or whoever, you gotta like them. But if you're in the position to draft a top quarterback, that means your team suck and like it just doesn't ever like I said, Joe Burrow worked out. But the next year they went and he got hurt, got to sit on the sidelines, build up, and the next year they went out, spent a ton of money, and they got his best friend who was a Hall of Fame wide receiver, and you know what I mean. That was history. But again, I don't. Like I said, our fans watch that and they're like, "Oh, we want that scenario," but that's like a fucking movie. Like Joe's from Ohio, like. Nobody wanted him in college. He had a historic like that's just like a fucking movie. Like we cannot be sitting around waiting for another fucking Joe Burrow to show up. Like it's just not going to happen. Like I said, and Caleb Williams seems like a nice kid, but said he can't even win in college. Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow. What did he do? He fucking won. He was unbeatable. Like, and sure, he had
He
a
was
great team.
unbeatable his last year in
Well,
college.
he didn't play
That
any
was
other
it.
years, but he didn't play any other years. I mean, if he would have started at Ohio State, he might not have been unbeatable, but he probably would have been going 11-1 and
He
losing
would
it.
have been
Like,
good.
yeah. Oh, again, what I'm saying is just like he was great. You saw it. Like, I'm not seeing all I see is crazy USC throws in California from a California kid in the Lincoln Riley offense. That's all I'm seeing. Baker did it. Kyler did it. Jalen Hurts did it. They were all fucking basically, you know, three of the four of those guys won Heisman's. I'm pretty sure it's like uh I don't know if Kate, like I said, sure he's got arm talent, but I don't think arm talent is going to make the Bears relevant in the playoff contention. Sure, if we draft Caleb Williams, it'll be a reboot of our quarterback and our whole entire history of quarterback developing via story. But like I said,
That's all right. You already know my stance, and I think Drake May's a better quarterback
I
altogether.
think he's a
Anyway,
bigger body, a bigger arm, but Drake May reminds me of Mitchell Trubisky.
I disagree. There's Drake May has taken. Here's the difference between Drake May and Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky only played really 1 year in
Well,
college.
Drake May played
Drake
too.
May, Drake May has played 3 seasons, but Drake May also has lifetime snaps. Similar to the whole, what they what
Maybe that'd be true. I'm not a huge fan, so I don't know. I
well
just like when I see him
there's that
play.
science where it's like 10,000 hours or something, you master it kind of thing, and it kind of goes the same way with quarterbacks in terms of snaps. They have like this track where they take how many snaps you did from your high school years all the way through your college years, and Drake May's really up there. It's the same thing with Tyson Bagent and Justin Fields. Like you can see the way Tyson Bagent processes the information faster than Justin Fields does, because Tyson Bagent, while he may have been playing D2
He
over the
had to
course of his
process it.
quarterback career, he has taken more snaps. He's seen more defenses. Like the information just comes to him faster because he has had more time on the job than a Justin Fields has over the entirety of his career. Of
Yeah.
course, that's high school, college, everything combined.
Yeah.
And it makes sense when you think about it. Talent is talent. You can't, it's football is not like the NBA where you could just go 1 year of college and then all of a sudden, you're playing with the big boys. But you take a lot of these guys. That's why a lot of the old school quarterbacks, like you were talking about the 70s and the 80s, stuff like that. That's why all those guys that came in and were high draft picks were very highly successful and were Super Bowl winning quarterbacks because they played 4 years of college back then.
Yeah.
They got those reps constantly against high level competition. When you take a quarterback that's only been in college playing at a high level against high competition for 1 year, as opposed to somebody who's been doing it for, say, 3 years, there's a big difference. That's a lot of snaps. And it's just, I see your point. I don't know. I guess we got 7 games. Justin Fields is not starting tomorrow against the Carolina Panthers. It's going to be
So
Tyson Bagent again. It'll give Justin Fields 10 days rest before he goes up against the Detroit Lions.
yeah.
Um, that should be an exciting game either way. Tomorrow we're hoping for a Bears win against the Panthers. Let's make their
Guess it
draft.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Well,
let's
I guess
try.
we need to win. Do they have less than what do they got? One win?
They got 1 win, so we do need
Yeah.
to win
Yeah,
because
we need to beat them. We
realistically,
want to keep them in the driver's seat.
yeah, because realistically, I mean, even if we end up with, say our pick is number 6, that's still a really high pick.
Oh yeah.
You're still getting a premium position player at that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, Tyson Bagent against, you know, Bryce Young, the matchup we all wanted. Uh,
uh,
so
Again,
we'll
I
see
hate
what
to be
happens.
harping on Tyson Badger. He did a good job, and I honestly, I see a lot of Kyle Orton in him. That's what he remind me of. I think he's a great backup.
Dude,
I think he's
I
going to
don't
be a
know.
great backup in this league. He showed that it just ain't there. He's got some wheels though, and you know what I mean. There's a reason these guys are D2 and things like that, and like I said, I'm just not ready to give up on Justin. He's the best, I think, offensive player we've had in our lifetime. Um,
He's definitely the most gifted.
yes, that's what I mean. Yes, like, but a lot of these other guys, like I said, I always thought Lovey was a good coach. Some like this guy, like he has just never gotten a chance, and I just don't think it's fair to write him off now because the guys you're about to fire, like you're about to fire Eberflus because he wasn't doing a good job. Like, how could you like if your head coach was so trash that you needed to fire him after 2 or 3 years? How could you blame the quarterback for anything? Like it trickles downhill, and like I said, we'll see where it goes. But I'm guessing Harbaugh, maybe Harbaugh move on from Justin and get JJ McCarthy late in the first or something. But honestly, I think somebody like Harbaugh would be great for Justin Fields. I think he turned Cap into a star, and I think he would do something similar to Justin. I think he's just very good at grooming quarterbacks into being playoff type quarterbacks. Like I think, like you said, you hate the game manager term, but I think he instills that in them. Like you know what I mean. We're going to play complementary football, and I think the Bears need to
I
get
have
back to that.
nothing, but see, I have nothing wrong with the game manager
No,
moniker.
that's what I'm saying. You were saying you don't like people giving that thing
Yeah.
because it's like a derogatory thing, but it's like every good like Tom Brady manages the game. Like he
Yes.
had the back end of his career, he had some crazy stats where he was going crazy, but 3/4 of his career, he was get third downs, don't turn the ball over, and when it was time to drive down the
You
field to kick a field goal to win, he did it. Like
you could say the same thing about Peyton Manning. You could
yes,
say the same thing about Drew Brees. You could about all those guys. They were granted they took the game manager moniker to another level
yes,
because they were coaches on the fields,
yes.
but realistically,
And,
that's what
Justin Fields needs to get on that. I defend him all the time, but he is not perfect. There are flaws in his game that need to be fixed. But in his defense, I just think all the flaws he has are going to be all the same flaws some rookie has. So, like I said, we're just going to be resetting. We're fine. We're resetting the money, but we're also resetting the rebuild because we're just doing the same thing over and over again. Um, and like I said, it's just I didn't even know that. Like I said, I looked that up with the top picks. Like that you don't like I said, Joe Burrow might turn around, but like Patrick Mahomes was what pick 14, pick 11, something like that.
he was picked 10.
10, like I said, like you know what I mean. You build your team and then you make your move and then trade up. So in like, maybe even next year, like they saying, "Oh, this is the best QB class." Every year, there's a fucking new quarterback who's amazing, who's going to be the next fucking Caleb Williams or whoever. So in 2 years, then fine, maybe we're a borderline playoff team. We're pick 18, and then we built. You
When
know what
when
I mean?
does when does the other Manning come into the NFL draft? He's a freshman this
He's
year,
a
so two
Redskin.
years.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Two
I
years.
think yeah, 2, 2, 3
2
years.
years. There
Yeah,
you
so it's
go.
like yeah, so if that's what it is, then in 2 years you do that. But like I think we should be taking more of the Eagles. Like the Eagles, they had Jalen, they drafted him late. I know, you know what I mean? They switched
Second
coaches
round.
then. Yeah, and it's like they were like, all right, we're gonna build our roster around him, and you know what I mean? And if he doesn't pan out, then we'll make a move. But and then it turned out to pan out when they surrounded him with the guys to make that happen. But like if we just keep getting this perpetual, oh, we're gonna get a new 21-year-old, it's like that doesn't work. When has that ever worked? Like that had like historically that's never worked. And for some reason, everyone wants to roll the dice, and because there's catchphrases like, "Oh, you need a quarterback to win." It's like we know it's a QB league, and you need a quarterback to win. But if your defense sucks and your O line can't block, and there's nobody to throw to, you really can't do anything either. So
But
it's like,
see, hold on. I have a question real quick. I know we're running this a little long. This will be the last thing I say. But is it possible that that top three pick or top five pick or whatever in terms of quarterback over the last 30 years that has never won a Super Bowl, besides Peyton Manning, is it possible because for the previous 20 years or whatever, you've had Tom Brady, who's been the greatest
I
of
mean,
all time?
yeah, but
Like,
now we
could
got
that
Mahomes.
it could
It
be
ain't no different.
skewed?
And
You know
before
what I'm
Tom Brady,
saying?
it was
Like,
Favre and Aikman. Like, no matter. There's always going to be some guy who's dominating the league.
I get that, but like who are those who are those like top three quarterbacks over the past 30 years? Like I we're for next week's episode, we're gonna
Well, I would
piggyback
have
on
said
this.
30. It was Manning, Brady, and that's it really, and Breeze. But like,
Breeze.
but yeah, but what I'm saying is like, but even that, we'll just fine. We'll take this winning the Super Bowl out of it. None of them were even good. Like Joe Burrow's the only one that Peyton Manning's the only one to win the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow's the only one to go to the Super Bowl. But none of the other ones are even good. Like maybe they made the playoffs a couple times. Like these guys aren't who Baker. Baker's got one playoff win under his belt. Kyler, what's he?
Herbert's got none.
No, like where? Like who are these guys that like? It's
Andrew
like
Luck,
Andrew Luck. Like what he had
but
what
he
one,
retired early.
but he had one playoff win.
I think Andrew Luck would have been another one if he would have
Maybe,
stayed.
but who knows? Like he had one play. Like he was not getting the job done. Like and again, I like him too. I think these guys would have been fine. They would have had nice careers. What I'm saying is like, and even if let's say, well, we'll give you Andrew Luck, that's still not that like even then. Even if
Yeah,
we said
I
Andrew
got
Luck was going to be good,
I got
like
to look at the names now
yeah,
because
like
yeah, that brings up a good point. It really is
and
a
the point
really
and the
good
point is
point.
basically the point is like if your team's so bad you're picking top five, that means like your team's not in a position to win. It doesn't matter who you pick because he could be good, you're still going to fucking suck. Like
Because
it,
yeah, because let's see what happens with Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence is getting there. Yeah, he's having a nice little career, but again, bad coaching held him back his first year, and now he's got to fuck with Mahomes. But like we'll see, like I said, and he was an even more of a can't miss prospect than Caleb Williams. That's what I'm saying. Like only the like 6'5" fucking freak athletes with cannon arms and a history of winning. Like Trevor Lawrence dominated college. Like he didn't lose a game until like you know what I mean. Like he lost like one game or two games before his NFL career. Like the career winner, like Caleb Williams can't even win in the Pac-12. Like that's what I'm saying. Like these guys show Burrow, these guys shown that like I'm him. Like Trevor Lawrence shoot a freshman against Bama, and you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
you gotta have that X factor even
Yeah,
in
and I
college. You
don't, I
gotta
don't.
have that it factor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That little bit of swag. And
and that's what I'm
Caleb
saying. In the
Williams,
NFL, that's not enough to get you over the hump because these guys are amazing. But in college, I just think it is. Deshaun Watson's, these guys, when you're that good, like it exudes off you and it makes your defense play better. Your line blocks better because they know like we got him.
and see that's why I think for a little while, for a little bit, like I texted you during Bagent's first win against the Raiders. It just seemed like they were playing not harder, but
I,
a little bit more
I agree,
inspired
but I think I
football.
don't know if it was for Bagent. I thought it was we all got. I guess it was for him, but not because he was so good. They were confident. I think it was like
No,
our backups in. We need to all play better because we need to help him.
and
And
he has that
and then yeah, he got fired up,
command. He
and
has that
yes, yeah,
swag.
and
He
he
has the command of the
yeah, and
team.
again, and it's like so. I don't think like I don't see that in Caleb. I knew like an idiot would have like a blind person would have known Trevor Lawrence was going to be good. Like the kid was amazing, and he had the frame. Like Caleb can't win. He's small, and no offense to the kid, you know what I mean. I've cried, but it's like the guy jumped in the crowd, was crying on his mom's shoulder. Like I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, you
Like
can't do that. You
exactly.
can't
Like
do
I'm
that.
I'm all for like,
Uh
but like you cannot do that.
you keep that shit like if you're crying on the sidelines with your teammates,
Yes.
That's different.
climbing up in the thing and crying in your mom's
With your
arms.
mom, like I no, that's
No,
just
like
you
again,
can't
these
do
are
that
just too
on
many red.
national television.
I think he's got too many red flags, and like I don't want to deal with it. I think he's got too much demon, and I think sure he goes to Minnesota where they got Justin Jefferson, or he goes somewhere where the offense is good and they cater. Yeah, maybe he'll be good. I just don't think he's the type of guy that you put on a bum team surrounded by nobodies, and he's going to bring us. And honestly, Justin isn't either. And that's what I think Bears fans need to come to grips with and say, hey, he's not the guy. He's not going to win us an MVP. But does he have the tools to win us some playoff games if we surround him with the right talent? And that's how I'm trying to look at it.
Well,
And I just
remember,
think
I told you and Adam at the very beginning of the season too. They just don't, even with the additions that they had, they still just don't have the
you're right.
talent on this team.
You know, again, I'm a Bears diehard, and I will get. But like I said, it's sunk in now. The pieces just aren't in place. And if we had a defense that was giving up 20 points or less a game, and this style was, then I would be like I said, get him out of here.
But see,
But we don't have that.
a lot of NFL teams aren't giving up less than 20. I think there's only three or four
Well,
teams
I'm
in the
just
NFL that average less than
well,
20
I'm saying
points a
20
game.
or less or something like that. What I'm saying right now, we're like 26 a game, and that's like I think we're like fifth worst.
Yeah, I mean, it falls in the range. I think the NFL average is like 22 and a half, which would fall right in line of where Justin Fields
Yeah,
is, what you
that's
said
what I'm
over the
saying. If
last
we would have
20
had an
games.
average defense, we win half our games. Like, and we don't have that. So it's and again, Justin, there are things he needs to work on, but I don't think it's fair to judge him being like the defense is basically putting you in a position where at the end of every game, the game's on the line. He has to do. It's like that's not team foot. Like we got to be playing complementary football. And if we're getting 22 points a game, you need to help us. And
Yeah,
some games,
100%.
Justin the Hulk up, and some games, the defense will carry us. But yeah, but that was a nice long episode. It's nice to talk that long. Like I said, there was a lot going on. Sweat trade. Caleb Williams is sucking it up now, and like I said, the vision for the season's becoming clearer, and we can be less optimistic. But we will see you guys next week. We'll be more consistent, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right.
Like, follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you stayed
All
this
that
long,
good
if you
jazz.
stay this long, you better fucking comment or something,
No shit.
motherfucker. All right, adios.